Hey guys, my name is Troy. Welcome back to my channel into the best reading month of the year and my December reading wrap up. So I'm just gonna go through this intro really quick because we have a lot of books to talk about, but basically, like I said, this was the best reading month of the year for me. I read a total of 21 books. 21 books. Like my previous best was 16. I raised the bar even more. I just had so much time on my hands this month with winter break and the holiday season, and I was just so motivated to read. So I cannot wait to share all the books that I read this month. Let's just get straight into it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, let's just get started. Alright, to start off, I want to talk about the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas, because just why not? I'm reading this series right now, and this month I was able to finish the first 6 books, or like the first 5 plus the prequel, so basically 6 books of the Throne of Glass series. I still have 2 more, but I will read those during the start of the next month. So basically, I read The Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and Empire of Storms. I will give you guys like a brief summary of what the series is about. So Throne of Glass is about this girl named Selena Sardathian. We're set with her being in the salt mines of Endovier. She's been like the salt mines for a year. Most people don't survive because of the brutal king and like how he has his slaves treated. One day she gets kind of called on by like the royal prince to join this championship or this competition at the castle of Aderland, and she will compete with 24 or 23 other like criminals and soldiers and like other people that would fit like the champion role for the king, which is basically like his assassin. So he needs an assassin and he's going to make a big competition out of it. What ends up happening is when she gets to the castle, there is a competition, but there's also some magic starting to unravel within the depths and the deep catacombs of the castle, and she kind of has to figure that out. And through the series, it's just really cool as like magic was banned in this world and magic kind of like comes back, and Selena has to kind of adventure through that. I also think that it's really cool how Selena through the series has multiple identities. So far within like the first 4 books, she has gone by 4 different identities, which is really cool to see like how she kind of explores through her personal identity and just like how she grows up as a person. I guess like when we start talking about the series, we're going to talk about the prequel first. I read this first, but like if you're reading the series as a new person, I would recommend reading after the 3rd book, but I just read this first. I think the prequel was great to dive into Selena's character. I feel like all the stories, they may seem really simple, but they have a big impact on the later books in the series, so I really think this book is really good. It might be one of my favorites, honestly. Just like setting up her moral values, her past like love and past romance, and just like seeing her as a person just kind of grow in before the events of the Throne of Glass series. It was perfect. It was a perfect like prequel novella book. And then Throne of Glass, which might be my like personal favorite book in the series. I don't know, it's just like I love Throne of Glass. It's like kind of what started inspiring the series. It was like written for 10 years by Sarah J Maas, so you can just see all the effort and work it was put into it, and like you can kind of just start seeing the world evolve and Selena's character start to evolve, and you're just really intrigued with this book. Like it's just like so intriguing. Next up, we have got Crown of Midnight, which is just another really fantastic book. This really starts to delve into the magic system of the world. Yes, it's banned, but there's obviously going to be some magic dwelling underneath the surface, and we start to explore that, as well as explore Selena's identity more and just her love interest and like more stuff like that, as well as like her past. It's just really cool. Then we've got Heir of Fire, which honestly another favorite. It's a little bit, it starts to get longer. Like these books start to get longer. This was like 560 pages. This was a really transitional book. This really like helped her discover who she was. It helped her kind of just get over some things that were in her past, and I just think that this really had a lot of interesting things in it. I love exploring this new continent, like when she went into Wendelin, so yeah. And then we have got Queen of Shadows and Empire of Storms, the last 2 books that I've been reading for the end of the month, and again, these are also just really great. Queen of Shadows a little bit more uninteresting to me just because of some like the rebel movements and some more like dull things that they need to be explored, but I still like the power and the fight of Selena and just her continued adventures. So I know that was a long like review of the series, but I just think that the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas is literally one of my favorites. I totally recommend. It's just so breathtaking, you know, like real and serious, and just I love it so much, so I definitely recommend. Let's go into the next one. Next up, we have got Loot by Jude Watson. By the way, I'm going in no particular order, like these are all mismatched orders, but this was a middle grade kind of like crime slash mystery book where we're set with this boy who his father, while on a heist, dies. He tells his son, before he dies, find Jules, and what he doesn't know is that is his long lost sister. He meets up with her, and then they get involved in this like contract where he has to find the 7 moonstones, the magical moonstones across the world in like a week. Alfie and Jules need to team up and get all those moonstones to him to get the $7 million contract or whatever. It's a really fun book. It has a slow start, and some of the stuff is not really necessary in the start, but I think that the like second half was really quick. I really enjoyed it. I read this live on Nitty Ready Reads channel, and it was fun doing those live reading sprints, and I think overall this book was great. So yeah, have to recommend this if you're into middle grade and like crime stuff. Next up, we've got The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. I will leave my video up there if I remember. It's my collab with Sukaroon Books. He sent me this book. I sent him It's Truly Devious. So if you want to see the collab and his video, then I definitely recommend clicking on that. But this was a really fun book, and just Sukaroon picked a really great book for me because it had a lot of elements that I liked, or LGBTQ plus romance that was super cute, some sciencey themes, and some social media aspects. I think it all combined into this great story. It's basically about this boy named Callion as he gets involved with his father's like space astronaut program. He has to move, and he meets this boy named Leon, and he has this social media app that he reports all this space stuff on, that he starts to gain like a serious following with millions of people. It's just a really interesting book. I highly recommend if you're into LGBTQ plus romances, as well as some like spacey stuff, because it went over it and I was like geeking out because it was really fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend The Gravity of Us. This month I also finished The Inheritance Cycle by by Christopher Paolini, and I also read the spin-off, the first volume of Tales from Alagasia, The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm. These books were great. I really love the Eragon series. As always, these books are very thick and very small, and like they take a lot of like tediousness, but this book was honestly so good. Like it just had so many details, it had so much originality, and in the end I was like, wow, this book shocked me and impressed me. I didn't think it was as good as it was, but like wow, like it was great. And then this was just a short fun tale about some like aftermath of the series, because the series did end on a very like low note but also like a high note at the same time. So it was really fun exploring the aftermath, as well as this like Urgle tale that they told for like the second half of the book. So yeah, I really appreciate this series, and I'm so glad I finished it though, because it was so long. I've been reading this for 6 months, the series. I've been rereading it, but yeah. Next up, I have got The Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir, and this is the second book in the Ember of the Ashes series. It follows Elia and Elias's adventure after the big aftermath of the first book, as well as the added perspective of Helene. Although this book was not as great as the first one, I really did like the adventure. I loved exploring more of Lia and Elias's relationship, as well as Helene's character, because she is so interesting. I loved the added twists and some of the really intimate and like emotional moments. Like it definitely did get me teared up a little bit. I was a little distracted at times, but overall this book was very good. I rated it 4.5 stars. Another audiobook I listened to was Matilda by Roald Dahl. I love Roald Dahl. He's like my favorite childhood author, and I just had to do a reread of Matilda for the Reindeer Readathon of the prompt, like a book that, or a character that doesn't really fit in, because this book is all about Matilda, a girl who is like a child prodigy basically. She can do multiplication tables past 12, like till 20. She can multiply like 3-digit numbers, and she can like read adult books like when she's 5. It's crazy. She's an incredible prodigy, and the story just follows this really funny sequence of events as she goes to the store or the school. She gets even magical powers, and she has to take down some people in funny ways. So I just really think this was a great story. It even had a little bit of like an intimate / emotional touch too. So like it was just fantastic. Roald Dahl is just such a great storyteller. Alrighty, I think it is finally time to talk about the Wings of Fire series, which I basically read so much more than I thought. I originally thought that I would be reading just books 5 through 9, which I have in my hands, but I also ended up getting my hands on book 10, book 11, and book 12 on ebook with Libby, so that was super exciting. Like I don't usually read ebooks, and I'll talk about that in a second, but like it was great. So yeah, I ended up reading The Brightest Night, which is the last book in the first arc. Then we have Moon Rising, we've got Winter Turning, we've got Escaping Peril, we've got, ooh, Talons of Power, and then we've got Darkness of Dragons, then we have got The Lost Continent, and then we've got The Hive Queen. So I read all those books this month. The Wings of Fire series is just really, really quick, honestly. Like, the books are just this. I read them about like 1 or 2 days when I put my mind to it. So yeah, I guess we'll just start from the beginning. We've got the end of the first series that I read, and this was not like incredible, but I still think it was a great addition. It's just like probably my least favorite series out of like the 3 parts of the Wings of Fire series, but I mean still, it was good because all these books are good. Then we've got like book 6, book 7, book 8. No, that's not book 8. That's book 8. This is book 9. These all make up the second kind of part to the Wings of Fire series. Let me, hold on. This series will probably always remain my favorite series out of all the Wings of Fire books, the second part to the series, and just all these books were so amazing. Like, a lot of them dealt with like magical abilities, magic, like animus powers, and that's why I really liked this. Like, this really combined the dragon world with magic, and that's what I just really loved about it. I loved all these books. Like, Moon Rising was a bit of like a murder mystery along with some like mind reading going on. Winter Turning, this was another one. I love the Ice Wings, and I love learning about their culture and their history and stuff. Then we've got Escaping Peril, which was really great with like dealing with the animus powers and the magic and stuff. Then we've got Talons of Power, which was like just so amazing, so incredibly fun with like the, what's it called? Yeah, like the magical powers and like the animus. And then book 10 was even cooler. Yeah, I really like that series. Then we have the next part to it, which I read the first 2. So we've got The Lost Continent, which I really enjoyed. It was so cool to see like a new continent of dragons and like a new story, like entirely made up. Also, I look really white because the sun just came in. Anyways, yeah, it was just so cool to see this new continent. It probably wasn't better than the second part of the series, but still, like the new culture, like even like the upgraded technology and like just the really sprawling like hives and cities, and like, I don't know, I just thought it was so cool. And like the story, I was really attached to Blue, Cricket, Sword Tail or whatever. And then I read the second book, or I'm reading it right now. I just got started with it, and it's just amazing. So yeah, those are all my thoughts on Wings of Fire. My Wings of Fire, like right now, is just so chaotic. Like, I just don't know how to explain it and like condense all my thoughts because there's just so many. But like, I read 8 Wings of Fire books. I read from 3 different parts in the series, and I just was able to almost finish the series. I have 1 more book to read before I'm caught up with the series, and I'll read that next month. But yeah, I'm so excited about all the Wings of Fire reading that I did this month. Alrighty, last up, we have got Erak's Ransom by John Flanagan. I read only 1 out of the 2 books on my TBR for this, what was it called? I wanted to read Erak's Ransom and then The Sorcerer of the North. I only got to Erak's Ransom, but that's okay. I just didn't really read much on audiobook this month. I've just been getting not into it as much. I might just take a break from audiobooks entirely because, like I said, I just haven't been getting the motivation to read them. Like, I didn't really enjoy this book too much, like maybe like 3 or 4 stars. I loved the beginning of it, but then like it just got so out of proportion and wacky and like unnecessary for the second half, but I still did end up liking it. It was kind of like a desert adventure as Erak, kind of like one of these main overjarls to this like one land, like he gets kidnapped and he has like a ransom on him, and so they have to pay the ransom, like the heirloom people. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Basically, like, not too impressive, but a fun read overall. It's just like, again, my motivation for audiobooks has gone down. So yeah, those are the 21 books that I read this month. I really tried to like make this review as quick as possible. Like, I tried to do it under 15 minutes. Like, I'm limiting myself to only 15 minutes of footage just so I don't have a lot to edit. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like for the 21 books I read. Like, if you're impressed, make sure to leave that like button. Subscribe to my channel down below for more content. I've got a lot of good and fun ideas that I want to execute like within these next few weeks, so make sure to subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload, and yeah, that really helps me out if you do. Comment down below, what books did you read this month? I would really love to know. I will leave the last video up there for you guys. It was a really good video and a lot of you guys liked it, so definitely go check it out if you haven't. But that wraps it up for me, guys. I love you guys so much. Happy reading, and see you in the next one. Bye.